And once again, welcome back to Retro Nightmares. Ladies and gentlemen, I tried. I really tried to beat the game we're playing today. And I've said it in the past, I just don't have the mental capacity to beat my head against a wall over and over. I'm a human being. Not every game is gonna be for everybody, I understand that. But some of you guys might be wondering, but Zilla, who in your life has the absolute gall to put you up to these terrible games that put you through so much pain and misery? Well, I have a treat for you today, guys. The person who subjects me to these games has agreed to appear on camera, so let's give him a big round of applause. So, you got anything to say for yourself now that everybody at home sees who you are?
I have pain.
Haha, it's very funny. Just get out of here so I can play the game that you put me up to today.
We have such sights to show you.
Get the crap out of here! Let's play Illbleed. This game absolutely broke me, and that's saying a lot compared to some of the stuff I've played in the past. You know, I beat The Ring Terror's Realm, I beat E.T. the Interplanetary Mission for the PS1. What did this game throw at me that I couldn't handle? Well, it beat me over the head with everything it could. Over and over and over and over and over and... The game begins with our main character, Eriko, giving a speech about her family's traveling haunted attractions, and how her father tested all his frightening amusements and traps on her, because when you have haunted house money, therapy is cheap. As soon as she's done, she's congratulated on her speech by none other than Brock and Joey Wheeler. Or Randy and Kevin, as the game insists they be called. And then their friend Michelle comes up and has tickets to Illbleed, a horror attraction that has a $100 million grand prize for reaching the end.
Okay, Your Highness. Then we three humble slaves shall bring back the $100 million, and you'll be sorry.
I can't wait to commune with the undead.
I'd use the money for a chainsaw and hack my way into fame and fear.
So, unsurprisingly, Eriko decides not to go with her friends because they've all completely lost their mind. After a few days, Eriko's friends don't show up, of fucking course. So she goes to Illbleed to ask where they are, where she is greeted by a very friendly receptionist. Hey, it's Donald Trump. And hey, it's my political joke quota for a lifetime. So with that incoherent babble, which I guess she understood, she goes into the park where we are finally given control. So we get to see this hub world, and it's not really too clear where we go, but we do happen to stumble upon the tutorial area. Yes, I stumbled into the tutorial area. You know, I start to lose a little bit of hope when the tutorial that is absolutely necessary for learning how to play this game is tucked away into a corner behind a building. I'm not even joking, it was just right there. Luckily, my gaming senses kicked in and I explored the hub world before jumping into the first level. Not everybody would do that, though. We get to enter the first stage, and I'll just stop right here and say that no matter what I say about this game, I absolutely love the way these levels start.
You play a sport, a game, knowing full well that you're going to either win or lose. You never expect to die before your dreams come true. Neither did Jimmy, or his father, Gail Banballo.
Each stage is introduced like an old B horror show, like Tales from the Crypt or Beyond Fact or Fiction. I love that type of intro to a story. It sets the mood just right. The first stage takes place at an inn that was run by Gail Banballo. He used the basement as a training center for his son, who had ambitions of playing pro baseball. Unfortunately, one day some teens were staying at the inn and managed to start a fire while he and his son were training in the basement. They became trapped and Jimmy perished in the flames.
but Gale survived and became a horribly disfigured monster hell-bent on revenge.
This is absolutely awesome. I love a good horror story, and now I'm going to play one. It's going to be awesome. But what's all that?
Stage requirements. A time limit, cleared traps, maxed heart rate, minimum HP, minimum adrenaline, and minimal bleeding requirement. What is all this?
That is a lot of requirements. In fact, that might be the most amount of requirements I've seen placed on a player in any video game. But you know what? There's so many of them. It can't be that hard to get them all right.
Okay, let's get started. Right through here, I guess. Okay. Guess it's an intro to the trap system. Now let's see what's over here. Okay, not here then. Let's just... What the... Come on now!
Okay. Where's the stupid threat detector at? I'm supposed to be disarming all this stuff that's killing me. Apparently the one I got in the tutorial doesn't work here.
After dying from suffering the effects of all the traps I managed to run across, I looked up and saw that you actually have to find the threat detector at the start of every level. Information that could have been useful before the fact. So we get the threat detector and start scanning. Every scan costs you some adrenaline. Disarming traps rewards you adrenaline back and a little bit extra. If you scan a false positive, the adrenaline is lost until you can find an actual threat again or restore it with some items.
Sounds easy enough. Traverse the level, disarm the traps, remember which ones are there, which ones can be false positives, and which ones are items. Or you can remember which traps are always there and get lucky on everything else. Because something that's a trap or item in one run-through may not be anything the next run-through. Or if something's an item one run-through, it might be a trap in the next run-through. You just never know.
Remember how the pool attacked me on my first run-through? Well, now I have the threat detector. I scanned it, but it turns out to be a soda. Sure, now I have an item, but I've lost valuable adrenaline that could be used to spot traps. And the soda, or Hassie, is for health, not adrenaline. And it's not a very good health item either. As we continue through the level to the best of our ability, we finally come across our first key item, Jimmy's bat.
Jimmy, it's time for practice. Get out to the training field now. Hey, you're not Jimmy. Jimmy.
There is not enough therapy for that type of mental scarring that runs that deep. I mean, what kind of doctors would you have to visit? What could they even give you to make that pain go away? And if there is something strong enough, what professional could even prescribe it to you? I mean, it's just... Get back to the game, Zilla! This joke's going nowhere!
Good. Now we have a bat, and we can finally get into some combat. Is what I wish I could say. The combat isn't very good. It's a 2-button process, just hit and dodge. But these enemies can have a lot of health sometimes, and every hit they cause makes your heart rate go up, and most of the time will cause bleeding. Oh yeah, I never did explain all those conditions from the start of the level. Let's do that for a moment.
So, you want to learn about all the different meters and status elements in this game, huh? Well, look no further, because you and Professor Zilla are about to embark upon Too Many Stupid Statuses and Effects 101. Take it away, Doc.
Thank you, General. First up is health, also known as strength. You lose it all, you die. You lose health by suffering from the effects of traps, getting hit by enemies, and suffering from long-term blood loss, which we will go over now. Blood loss sometimes occurs when you are struck by an enemy or suffer the effects of a trap, but it will always occur if the trap has, say, glass, or a knife, sometimes blistered wood, or even fecal matter. Blood loss will drain your health while running, so make sure you walk at a painfully slow speed or find something to patch yourself up with. Heart rate. If this gets too high, you die of shock. What causes it to go up? Well, like most things, getting hit by enemies or suffering from the effects of traps. But it will also continuously go up while engaged in combat. It will also make any blood loss you're experiencing worse because of the higher blood flow. So, heart rate leads to faster bleeding and also faster death, but will also kill you if the meter maxes out, making heart rate the #1 killer in Illbleed. And this, I have no clue what this is. Has something to do with your surroundings, lets you know what traps are nearby or if a trap is nearby. But that's the secret of Illbleed. There's always a trap nearby. And that does it for Too Many Stupid Statuses and Effects 101. Please return your textbooks for 10% of what you paid for them now. Back to you, General.
Thanks, Professor. I'm sure you're not another one-off character that'll fade away into nothingness. Anyway, let's talk about the combat.
Combat really just goes one of two ways. The enemy is either slow and easily avoided, thus opening up several attack opportunities, or the enemy is stupid fast and has a wide hitbox and will do a crap load of damage before you can kill it.
Care to take a guess which one pops up more often?
Really, there's not much more to say about the mechanics. You continue through the level, finding clues and key items that help complete the stage, and you do your best to stock up on healing items that aid the 3 major status elements. But that can be very hard to do sometimes because every little error causes something to suffer, and the game is very punishing, so usually you have to heal the problem sooner rather than later. You can try to put off stopping your blood loss for a while, but if the meter goes up too high, the item may not put it back at 0, which is the only way to make the blood loss completely stop. So you're going to go through your inventory pretty quick, especially if you have as much trouble as I did. And unless you're reading or watching a step-by-step guide, that's going to be a lot.
So we collected all the key items in the level, and we've miraculously made it to the boss. I guess that's not terrible character design. It's kind of creepy. Until it talks.
This first encounter is unwinnable, so you have to go to this help pad over here and mash a button until a ladder drops down and ends the encounter. That, of course, is not the end. Phase 2 is traversing through a narrow maze and trying not to get caught by Mr. Bonballo. Anytime he catches you, you have to do that escape ladder trick again and just go through the maze and reach the save point at the end. The next encounter is the actual fight.
So you'd think that this might be kind of easy. The game's throwing you a bone for a change. The save point's right outside the boss fight. I mean, how hard could it be? Until you look and you notice you're low on health. Your heart rate's kind of high. There's no items around. And your inventory's empty. Yeah, I think you know where this is going.
Bonballo attacks with a flamethrower, and also acid spit for some reason. Both attacks have a 180-degree hitbox. Now, the dodge has a very generous amount of invincibility frames, but you're only limited to dodging backwards and side to side, and you can't get in close enough to hit him before he starts his attacks. The proper strategy would be to get him to start his attack animation, run behind him and hit him, but I have low health and no items to help it, so I'm limping around and can't move at a good speed to do this strategy. So I get stun locked from getting hit once and can do nothing about it. So, right here I admit defeat and I turn off the game.
I just couldn't take the punishment. And you know what? I'm not ashamed to admit that either. If anything, I have to commend the developers on making a game that stands by its principles. The amusement park doesn't want you to survive and have the $100 million grand prize, just like the game doesn't want you to play and see the credits. I could have beaten the game. There was a step-by-step guide that I was referred to that would have pointed out everything in detail. But if I had done that, it would have tainted my overall experience of the game. I wouldn't have seen it the way the developers wanted to, and it would have tarnished my opinion of it. So with that, I have to give a big hats off and a fuck you to Illbleed. Dismissed. Hey guys, what's up? Zilla here. Hope you enjoyed watching that review. I really enjoyed making that review. It's probably one of my favorite reviews I've made so far. I'm pretty proud of this one, despite the fact that I couldn't beat the game, and this might be one of the most physically endearing games I've ever played. There were times where I could feel my pulse trying to play this game. It made me so angry. Anyway, glad you guys are here. Glad you could watch it. At the beginning of the video, yes, I did put Zilloween 2016. It is Halloween time, October, favorite time of year, favorite season, all that jazz. I don't really have a plan set out for October. I'm planning on having at least one more Retro Nightmares horror themed put out by the end of the month. Other than that, I'm not really sure if I'm going to do anything else Halloween themed. I might come up and rant about something like a favorite horror genre or whatever, why I love the horror genre so much. If you guys have any requests for something Halloween themed y'all want me to do, just leave it in the comments below, hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. See you later. Dismissed.